There are movies.
And can we talk about the lightsaber fights and lack of the lightsaber fights?
Yeah, I mean,
and just the lack of interesting. Like the only real lightsaber fight is in episode 7. I guess there's the one in 9 between Rey and Kylo Ren, but
it doesn't seem like there was any choreography in terms of sword fighting. When you look at 1, 2, 3, Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith, you have these epic sword fights with Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan, Anakin.
It's really interesting how all of that has changed over time, because in episode 4, I remember watching the behind the scenes, and Luke Skywalker said, Mark Hamill said George Lucas basically told him these lightsabers, they're not light, they're like Excalibur, they're big, heavy swords, this thing's generating all this energy. And so that's why in the original trilogy they're kind of slower and they're hacking and the fights are really slow. But then you get to the prequel trilogy, and
the funny thing about that
it's like George is like, throw that out.
Yeah, the funny thing there is that realistically they wouldn't have any weight. They would be like as light as a feather, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, if you could have a sword that could actually create a laser blade like that, maybe. But it's funny that they get to the prequels and they are light as a feather. They're just flinging these things around. I will say they go a little overboard. Like the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin in episode 3, there's a scene where they're both just swinging their swords around and they're not even attacking each other. It's just flare.
Yeah.
Like that one moment, I'm like, all right, come on. Like you guys are just going overboard here.
But I love that intensity. That just my personal preference from those 1, 2, 3 movies, especially in Phantom Menace in the end when Obi-Wan has to fight Darth Maul. Yeah. It just adds to the intensity of the moment. And I feel like with these newer films, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, you didn't really see those fights. And,
well, there was no lightsaber fight in The Last Jedi, which is a huge complaint.
Well, there is. There is in the end, right?
No. Because Luke Skywalker's a hologram, and the blades never actually clash.
How about the Last Jedi in the end with Snoke? There's Kylo Ren, and then there's
That's not
Rey,
even a real lightsaber fight, though, because it's 2 people with lightsabers fighting regular people. It's not a real saber on saber battle.
It's not a duel. Yeah, it's not a lightsaber duel. And the funny thing about that fight in particular is that they even, there's a great video, Corridor Digital does it, where they do the Stuntmen React video.
Oh, dude, that's so great. They rip it apart.
Tear it apart. Yeah.
There's a point where one of the guys has 2 blades. And then they roto one out because it's like obvious that he could kill her. They talk about it in that episode, and it cracks me up every time I watch it. Also, what really cracks me up is stunt guys doing nothing. People just waiting in the background, waiting for another guy to die, so it's their turn to come in and get killed.
Like, and then doing random 360s just to fill that frame with motion for that moment.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
There's a moment where Rey kicks someone, but all 3 or 4 stuntmen react and back away, and it's
a force kick.
It's a force kick, totally. Yeah,
it's for sure. Exactly. Yeah, just use the force kick them all the way at the same time.